After 9/11, I was in the San Francisco airport. I was traveling on a book tour, and I was, all of us shocked, rattled, and I'm looking around, and San Francisco is a city that has been destroyed by leftist policies, a beautiful city that's become unlivable because of the left. But it also is a city of tolerance, and before the leftist policies bit in, it is a city of tolerance. And I looked around this airport in SFO, and I looked around and I saw white people with black people, gay people with gay people, people holding hands. And I just thought, this is what they hate. This is what these Islamists hate about our country. They hate this. And this is what I love about it. And this is the country I want to be in. And of course I want to be in it. Why? Because I grew up in a neighborhood that was 50% Jewish. A Jew in America at that time, which was, all WASP, all white, all, one side of a thing. And I had a father who was paranoid about every little thing. If a Republican won anything, if he won dog catcher, he thought the Nazis were coming back. Oh, the Nazis are coming to America. Oh my gosh, there's a Republican walking down the street. The Nazis are coming. And I looked around me and I thought, the Nazis? Jews have never had it so good. I was a kid and I was thinking, wait, this is great. We're treated just like Americans. They just look at us and they think, oh, that's an American. He's a Jewish American, but it's American. On TV, then when they say Merry Christmas, they say Happy Hanukkah. I just thought, this is great. This is a great country. I want everybody treated like that. When people are not treated like that, it's not fair. I want blacks treated just like Americans, gay people treated just like Americans, even women, and they're crazy. I want them treated just like Americans, okay? Now, I'm still a kid. Now maybe I'm 14, maybe it's 68 or something like this. They begin busing. They begin busing poor black kids out of ghettos into other neighborhoods. And the people in my neighborhood, which was a prosperous neighborhood, they protested. And they had a march. And CBS made a documentary called Guess Who's Coming to Great Neck, basically calling us all racist. I wasn't in this march. I didn't, I had nothing to do with it. But they made it look like these people were racist. Now, let me ask you this. Busing these people in from bad neighborhoods, I didn't really experience it because it happened actually as I was getting out of high school, but my brothers did. People came in and suddenly there was violence in these schools. Suddenly there was intimidation, there was crime, there was stuff going on because these kids, a neighborhood is something that people tend. It's something that people build. It's something they create for their children. People moved to Great Neck because they wanted to be part of the American experience of suburban living that you saw on TV. These Jews wanted to become Americans. They wanted to become Americans and live the American dream that they had seen. They tended this community like a garden. They tended its schools like a garden. They fought for its schools. They fought and went out and voted to keep the schools well funded. And suddenly the government, over past crimes that the people in Great Neck had nothing to do with it, suddenly the government says, we're going to fix all this. We're sending these people into your schools. We're sending them into en masse with no consultation with you, with no care for you. And if you are against that, you're a bigot. You're a bigot. Now, isn't there a difference between standing up for integration, standing up for the right of black people to move into a community once they can afford it, once they've worked their way up the ladder, once the bounds of bigotry and segregation that the Democrats had put in place, once those are pushed out of the way and they can move forward, welcome to our community. You are now just like everybody else here. Just like everybody else here. Now, we don't care about the color of your skin. Welcome. That's an important thing. That matters. It matters that you're like that. Isn't there some difference between that and a busload of kids who haven't been brought up the way your kids have been brought up, who haven't been taught the rules of the game the way your kids have in this community that you work so hard to build and defend? Isn't there some difference at all between those two things, between saying, no, you can't move in here because you're black, and wait a minute, hold on, hold the phone. The government is busing how many people into my community? Isn't there some difference there? If you call those people bigots, if you call them bigots when they protest that government policy, doesn't that give some credence to the white supremacist, the true bigot who whispers in their ear, oh, this is the conspiracy, here they come, they're coming to replace you? I mean, evil is always present, right? Evil is always present, and you have to have some kind of care for people. You have to have some kind of care to make sure that evil doesn't get a voice, that evil's voice is not legitimized. When Angela Merkel opens up the gates of Europe, essentially, and lets millions of Muslims come in, millions of people, some of whom, many of whom, I think, have ideas that are antithetical to Western governance, that are antithetical to Western values, that treat women badly, and they open up the gates, and people start to say, our girls are being mistreated. Our community that we built and love and cherish, it's being destroyed. Our community values are vanishing not because people came to this country legally, worked their way up the ranks, came in and suddenly could buy a home next to me. Sure, there's going to be a bigot who says, no, don't buy a home next to me, but there's going to be a lot of people who come over with tea and cake and say, welcome to the neighborhood too. And those are the people, obviously, we support. But when you don't care, when these people cry out to you and the government doesn't listen, say, oh, you're bigots, you're racist, we're the elites, we're in charge. It's a global world now. It's a global world. Your neighborhood doesn't matter where you raise your kids. Your schools don't matter where you raise your kids. Your girls are being raped. Don't say anything because that would be bigoted. Doesn't that give credence to the white supremacists? Doesn't that mean that this evil guy, the devil, now has the power to say to them, look at what these people are doing to you. Look at what's happening to your neighborhoods, and the government doesn't care.